I don't know if you guys listen to Sean O'Malley's podcast at all, the VENMO Sugar Show, but last week in his podcast from this past weekend, not the one with Steve-O, but the one before that with the Schmo, I actually made it on there. I made it on Sean O'Malley's podcast.
This is for you guys and kind of the
That right there. That's me. Maybe you guys can go into his comment section on whatever, spam him, be like, maybe hop on his podcast. Maybe I could get a little collab with him, because, you know, I'm obviously bringing in some good traffic if, you know, he's got me in his podcast, you know, throwing me in there like that, see my face. That's obviously good traffic for him, so maybe if we could reverse it, he could share the love, maybe hop on my podcast. I don't know, that'd be great. I've been on his podcast a couple times, but it's pretty cool because this time you can actually see my face and everything. I don't know, I'm geeking out, but yeah, enough of that. I don't know if you guys saw the video I did, like a full day of eating. I talked about the coffee I have every morning, but I didn't show you guys exactly how I make it. And I've been messing around kind of with the process that I use to make my coffee. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna show you guys the ingredients and exactly how I mix it all together. It's gonna be a little bit weird, but I think I've kind of perfected it a little bit. It tastes good to me, I like it. I don't know, maybe you guys can try it and let me know what you guys think. Everything you're gonna need is right here. You're gonna need milk or whatever if you wanna use that for some sort of like cream. Honey, that's gonna be like your sugar, I guess, for the coffee. A shaker cup, which you'll see why in a minute. You're gonna put your milk in here, just leave your milk in there, and obviously coffee. And then what I would do is add your honey into your coffee before you put it in with the milk. The milk can sometimes like cool the honey up so it doesn't like mix as easily. So if you put it in with the coffee, like right after the coffee gets brewed, makes it hot, and melts in with the coffee, makes it blend. Then you're gonna take this concoction, pour it into there like so. Put your lid on and shake it up. Now this is the weird part because you might be wondering why I'm shaking it up. I really don't know. I just believe for whatever reason when you put the ingredients in and you mix it up like that, it just makes the flavors blend together better. Plus with the blender cup, it kind of adds like a nice froth on top, as you can see. When you got the milk in there, adds a nice layer of foam on top. It's definitely a little bit weird using the shaker cup. I mean, you could use different things, like if you actually have something that's gonna like whisk it up like this, like a blender or something. But I don't know, I like that. And I think for whatever reason, the bro science, my bro science, I think it just mixes everything together and I think you get a better taste overall. So we are less than a month away from the third fight, the trilogy fight between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. I don't know if you guys are new to my channel, but I make videos like this all the time. I even predicted the last fight, the second fight between the two. I correctly predicted it. I said Dustin Poirier would knock out Conor McGregor. And I've called some of the biggest fights that have happened this year. I make betting videos and things like that. Like this past weekend, we had the Bryce Hall-Austin McBroom fight, which is pretty big in terms of like the YouTube boxing scene. I said McBroom would knock out Bryce Hall, and that's exactly what happened. I'm usually pretty good at calling these fights. This time around, it's very interesting because last time the story of the fight was the leg kicks. It seemed to be that's what completely took away Conor's movement. Even Conor nodded his head, said that was fair play, a great game plan by Dustin. It took away his movement, and Conor really couldn't do much after his leg was pretty much compromised after that second round. I do believe this time around it's going to be a little different. I don't think if you're Dustin, I wouldn't go back to the well and try that again and rely on that to be your game plan. That's what you're going to win the fight off of. Because if you're Conor, you're just going to make the slight adjustment because Conor wasn't correctly checking the leg kicks. If he makes that slight little adjustment where he's turning his leg out more and like actually like turning his knee out to where he can check the kicks, then the kicks aren't going to be as effective. But so if you're Dustin, you got to find another way to pretty much weather that storm because Conor, to me personally, I see Conor as somebody who's only really effective in that first and second round. He's a very fast twitch, explosive kind of guy, and we've seen it time and time again where Conor gets out of that third round, that second, third round. There's definitely a steep drop off and decline in his output and his performance. And versus like someone like Dustin, who's incredibly durable, he'll bring it to you the entirety of the fight, and especially in a 5-round fight, he's gonna bring it all 5 rounds. I mean, you've seen that time and time again, whether it be the Dan Hooker fight, the Max Holloway fight. Those are just some recent fights that I name off the top of my head. He's been in some wars and he brings it the whole entire time, whereas someone like Conor, where things start getting rough and you start dragging out the fight longer, that's when Conor actually starts to fall off and the other person starts to pick up. So I think the biggest thing if you're Dustin Poirier, you gotta find a way to get past those first, second rounds to get away from that power, because honestly, I think in the second fight, Conor probably won the first round. I mean, he was tagging him with some good shots. He was hitting him clean. It was just Dustin was durable enough to take him. And that also could be the difference because the first time they fought was at 145. Dustin was compromising himself a bunch, cutting that much weight to get down to 145. And then obviously when you jump up weight class, you're going to add a lot more weight, a lot more durability, and it's going to be a lot better overall for your performance. And someone like Conor, who's only won one of his 3 fights at lightweight, like he hasn't, it's the exact opposite effect, where Conor had his way better performances at 45 and he's not been so good at 155, whereas someone like Poirier was at 145. He was still good, but when he went up to 155, he's been really good. His only losses have been to Habib and Michael Johnson. He's like 11-2, I think, at lightweight so far, versus Conor, who, like I said, has only won 1 fight at lightweight. So it's very interesting because I think Poirier has to find a way to either just not get knocked out, not get in any trouble, not get hurt in that first round. So how do you exactly do that? If you do remember in the first fight, the first round, Dustin took Conor down like right away within the first minute. I think it was honestly the first minute and a half of the first round in their second fight. And I think if Dustin can employ some type of game plan like that, where you just keep trying to take Conor down over and over again, just that constant like grappling, fighting him off, defending the shot, trying to get back up to your feet, that is going to be enough to tire out Conor, especially when you're in like that constant squeeze, that static position up against the fence where you're just trying to hold him from going down your legs. If you're Conor, trying to get those double unders and pull up, that's going to be very tiring. All you're trying to do if you're Dustin is just get those muscles of Conor to fill up with blood, and just try to slow him down to where he can't be as fast, can't have that same pop, that same timing. I think that's the biggest thing, and you just try to find a way to drag the fight out. The longer you drag the fight out, I genuinely believe it favors Dustin Poirier. Another angle to approach Conor McGregor, if you are Dustin Poirier, would be to put Conor on his back foot. Now I know that sounds stupid because someone like Conor is a great counterpuncher. I do believe that, but I think he's a great counterpuncher against someone who's just like a reckless kind of going forward type of dude. If you have someone like Poirier who's very technically sharp, you know, he moves his head, he gets his hands up, I think that's the biggest thing. Putting Conor on his back foot with combinations when you mix it up. You go head, body, then chop the legs, something like that. I genuinely believe mixing it up against Conor McGregor, giving him multiple things to think about, and then mix that in with the takedowns, you're just gonna overwhelm Conor's system. And if you throw in all sorts of feints like that, like George St. Pierre talked about in his Joe Rogan podcast, feints are so huge because it mentally fatigues your opponent. If you're giving him all types of different looks, you're mixing up head, body, leg kick, shooting in for the takedown, you're giving him all sorts of things to think about. And then on top of that, you throw the feints in there, the mental fatigue it has on you is like it messes with your reaction time, it completely slows down and drains your reaction time. And someone like McGregor who relies off that reaction time to pull back and counter and get right back in the pocket, if you don't really bring the fight to Conor, Conor's gonna bring the fight to you, and that's what happens time and time again. That's like when I talked about the decline of Conor McGregor in another video I made, when he was doing all that like the trash talking stuff before the Mr. Nice Guy, because he said he's cutting off the Mr. Nice Guy now. All the trash talk and everything, like the Jose Aldo stuff, was to get in your head, to get you out of character so that you're trying to come at him recklessly and he just picks you off. But if you come at him in a calculated way where you're mixing it up, I really don't think Conor can handle that. Wear him down mentally, fatigue his reaction time, everything like that, and then once you get him on the ground, just keep him down there, hold him, make him fight, make him fill those muscles up with blood so he's not as fast, he doesn't have that same speed. I think the biggest thing is just doing whatever you can to drag the fight out to those later rounds and make Conor work. Making Conor work is so huge because when Conor is the matador, when he's the one moving around, he's got the swagger to him, when he's doing all the flashy stuff, that's when Conor's at his best. You can't let him do that, you can't let him get started, you have to get in his face right away, and you have to mix it up, you have to give him things to think about. I don't know, this is sheer speculation, this is just how I see Dustin Poirier winning. If I were somehow implementing a game plan just based off what I've seen from both of their fights, this is how I think you beat Conor McGregor, and I think Poirier should beat him this time around again. I'm definitely not going to write Conor McGregor off. I don't think that Conor can't win this. I only believe that, you know, his only like real area or his window of opportunity is going to be in that first, second round, and I think that's when he's most dangerous. If you can get past that, then I think it's Poirier all day. I think Poirier has the durability, he has the skills, he has the game plan. If he can put it all together, I really believe Poirier should win. He's my pick. I don't know if I made that clear the whole entire time when I was talking about what Poirier should do, but I genuinely believe Poirier is going to win. That's my pick to win this. I think Poirier is going to go up 2-1 on the trilogy. I don't know, I'm interested to hear though, who do you guys have in this fight? Who do you guys see winning? How do you see them winning? I feel like this fight's definitely going to get finished. There's definitely no way this goes to full 5 rounds, because even if Conor wins, he's going to knock out Poirier early, and if Dustin wins, it's going to be because Conor is tiring out, and there's no way Conor, if he's tiring out, he's not going to make it to the 5th, because he's just going to get the snot beat out of him. It's going to pile on, and Poirier's going to put the pressure on him. I just don't see this fight going the distance whatsoever. If you guys want an early bet, an early prop bet or whatever, just bet this fight to be either not going the distance or under 3.5, whatever the lines are. Biggest thing is this fight will not go the distance. I will guarantee you that. I will bet every last dollar in my bank account this fight does not go the distance. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like, share this video. If you guys know anyone else that enjoy this type of content, please send my video their way. I make videos like this all the time, every single week, multiple times a week. So if you guys do like this stuff, go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. And I'm curious to hear you guys got in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any ideas, video suggestions. I also want to hear them in the comment section below. Till next time, I'll catch you guys later.